Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you're here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Co-creating at its best, really. You have dragged your physical bodies here, we see. Some of them kicking and screaming. But the non-physical part of you has come willingly. And that's why we call it co-creating at its best. Not just because you are a magnificent mix of perceivers who bring your perspective into a forum like this, where you focus and think and offer vibration, but because there is nowhere that you go with your physical body that your source energy, inner being, is not there also. Sometimes you're not aware that that broader part of you is close by, because you have chosen thoughts and have practiced them enough that they are active enough within you that the vibration of you here in your body is a bit off kilter from the vibration of your source. And when that happens, you know it, you feel ornery and worse. But nevertheless, everywhere you go, we go. In fact, you are the furthest most extension of that which we are, and we take our eyes away from you never. We are always aware of you. Not only are we aware of where you are as you stand here in your physical body, we are aware of what your life has caused you to even further reach for. Do you understand that? Do you understand that in every moment of your life experience, as you are sifting through the data, and you can't help but do that, as you sift through the data, you cannot help but come to personal conclusions about what you prefer on the broadest of subjects, on the simplest of subjects, even on what you might call unconscious subjects that have to do with the working of your physical body. In other words, you are a veritable data sifting, sorting, concluding, preferring being. And with each preference that shoots out of you like a vibrational rocket, the source energy part of you rides that rocket, because that is the furthest point of consciousness. That is the furthest leading edge point. Sometimes you are aware that in your physical body, you are the leading edge of that which is source. But we want you to expand that thought still further in understanding that not just being here in your physical body with the manifestation that surrounds you is the leading edge place in the universe, but the thought you just thought, but the desire that was just born within you. So before you came into this body, the source that is really you was offering a vibration from non-physical vantage point, and made the decision to project some of that attention into a physical body for a closer scrutiny of life experience, of leading edge creative life experience. So that non-physical part of you extended itself and became that which you call me here in this physical body. As that occurred, some of the consciousness is expressing through the physical mind of that little infant that was born, while the larger part of the consciousness is still expressing from the non-physical vantage point. And then, as that little baby, you began expressing yourself and exposing yourself to the variety of your life, and in every bit of it, long before you could form words, you perceived and concluded and offered preferences which source responded to. Even the one-celled organism has that relationship with source. That's what the evolution of all species is about. So here you are in your physical body, having life experience that causes you to ask for things beyond what you are living. For example, when you are tired, you want more energy. When you are hungry, you want food. When you don't have enough of something, you want more of it. Your life experience causes you to constantly reach for an improved experience. That's the nature of this expanding universe of which we are all a part. So when your life causes you to ask for something, and here's the interesting thing that we think so many of you are not really remembering. The non-physical you expressed itself into this physical body, and now here in this physical body, you are giving birth yet still to another rocket of desire, which the source energy part of you follows. No questions asked. Because the non-physical part of you understands not only your worthiness, but the non-physical part of you understands that there is no one who has a better vantage point or a better place from which to ask for the expanded version of your life than you right there where you stand. When someone's rude to you, you prefer they be otherwise. When you don't have enough money, you prefer more money. When you do not feel good in your body, you prefer an improved bodily condition. In other words, those kinds of examples and so many more, we could not even begin to describe them if we spent the rest of your life trying to define them. Because your life is defining them. Your life is giving birth to these extensions of non-physical energy. So the non-physical part of you expressed itself forward into your body, and now still with you every step of the way, you in your physical body have an experience that makes you say, from my unique, and it is always perspective, and my unique, and it is first time leading edge experience, and they always are. Do you know that this environment as it is right here and now has never been before unto all of the universe? The combination of the thinkers that you are and the thinkers that we are has never come together in this unique way, and we are expanding the universe right here and now, taking thought beyond that which it has been before, and the non-physical part of that experience moves forward immediately to every preference that is born out of every experience. The question is, what does the rest of you do in keeping up with it? And the answer to that is, if the rest of you keeps up with it, if the physical you keeps up with the idea that your physical life gave birth to, that the source energy part of you went to immediately, if the physical you keeps up with it, then you feel eagerness, enthusiasm, appreciation, love, you feel expansion, you feel joy, you feel the way life is supposed to feel. But if your life causes you to give birth to another rocket of desire, and the source energy part of you rides it and literally becomes it, and it always does, we'll tell you more about that in a minute, and you don't go along with that flow, you don't feel so good because you're not keeping up with what life has caused you to become. That's where every negative emotion comes from, but more pointedly, that's where those feelings you have of not enoughness or unworthiness, or those feelings of being held back or limitedness, those feelings of discomfort arise when you don't keep up with you, literally. It's sort of like together we are a two-headed monster, and we want to get both heads moving in the same direction. And when we do, there is harmony that you can feel in the vibration of your being that you translate through emotion. And when you're going one way and who you really are is going another way, you don't feel so good. For example, when you conclude, often by influence of others, that you are inappropriate in some way, and you feel guilty or you blame yourself about something, you cause a split in the vibration of you and you, because the source energy within you never feels that way about you no matter what. The source energy part of you never stops understanding and loving you, and when you blame yourself, you split your energy and you feel rotten. Same thing when you blame another. The source energy part of you will not blame the other. When you get focused upon something, even if the majority of people on your planet are in agreement with your pushing against this subject, your inner being will never be in agreement with your pushing against anything. So when you push against something, no matter how right you are in your conclusion of the wrongness of the thing you're pushing against, you split your energy, because the source within you understands that this is a universe based upon law of attraction, and that there is no exclusion anywhere in this universe, which means when you see something you want and you shout yes at it, you include it in your vibration. But when you see something that you don't want, something that you call abhorrent or wrong, and you shout no at it, you split your energy, because when you see something that you push against, you're not pushing it away. You're including it in your vibration and calling it to you. And the source within you never, ever, 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 ever does that. If source within you would blame your government or your president or somebody like you do, you wouldn't feel so rotten when you do it. And many of you say, oh, that doesn't feel rotten, that's delightful. And we say it's only slightly more delightful than the powerlessness you felt before you did it. Everything that you are reaching for, we have concluded as we have watched you, and we have watched every one of you. Everything that you do, even if it is the achieving of a negative emotion, is in your effort to return to your state of feeling better. And what we mean by that is, when you feel powerless and you find a thought of revenge or anger, you feel better. And the reason you feel better is because there is less feeling of powerlessness in revenge. We've noted, as we've observed humans, that in your emotional states, there are many emotions that you feel, more than we could count. But they are all on a sort of sliding scale. And it all has to do with your alignment with who you really are or not. And the closer into alignment you are with the source energy that is really the dominant part of you, the better you feel. And the more out of alignment you get, the worse you feel. In alignment feels like love and appreciation. It feels like joy. It feels like passion. When you're out of alignment, it feels like frustration, overwhelmment. It feels like anger and more anger. It feels like fear and despair and all of those disempowering emotions. And if you will notice, as you run the gamut of your emotional scale, that on the good feeling end, there is a perception on your part of freedom and empowerment. And on the not good feeling end of the scale, there is your perception of disempowerment and not freedom. Now we know, because it is the nature of all of us who exist, that at very deep, secure, knowing source levels of our being, we know, which means you know, that you are free. You know that no one can vibrate for you, and that your vibration is your point of attraction. And so with that knowledge, we find freedom. But if you don't have that knowledge, then you might very well perceive erroneously that some condition or some circumstance or some other has power over you. And when you conclude that, you feel horrible, because that conclusion is so opposite of what you really know, you see. So everything that you feel is about your vibrational relationship between who you're being in this body right now, in this moment while you're thinking this thought, and who you really are, as that larger part of you is with you and thinking a thought. The way you feel is always the barometer of that alignment or misalignment of thought.